Scammers are tricking immigrants with fake deportation court hearings. Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States at our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, Washington, D.C., and Chicago, Illinois. As if immigrants don't have enough to worry about, news reports out of New York City show a spike in scams being run on vulnerable immigrants. What's going on? Well, you wouldn't believe it. An immigrant named N found a lawyer on Facebook, and he hired the lawyer to help him with his deportation proceedings. They had a meeting, and he gave the lawyer his documentation of his upcoming deportation hearing. And after a few weeks, the lawyer told the immigrant that the court date had been moved up and that it was going to be a virtual hearing. And so the immigrant logged in to Zoom and thought it was an immigration court hearing, but in fact, it was a scam. The lawyer was a fake lawyer, but they also, on the Zoom call, had a fake judge and a fake USCIS officer. Now, of course, USCIS officers aren't even involved in deportation. Deportation is done by the Department of Justice, OPLA lawyers, and they convinced this immigrant to pay them $5,000 for the legal representation. And then the judge told this poor immigrant that his case had been won and that he was going to be allowed to stay in the United States if he paid $900 and if he paid for certification of court documents at $99 a page. They asked for another $2,300. So they were trying to scam him out of another $3,300 after they already got $5,000 from him. Now, here's the kicker. Not only was the judge fake, the lawyer fake, and the whole proceedings a sham, this poor bastard missed his real hearing. The lawyer, fake lawyer, told him to skip the real hearing, and he got ordered removed in absentia. He got ordered deported, which means he now has a deportation order. Now, the interesting thing is he's been a victim of a crime, clearly, and there is a visa called a U visa that's available for immigrants who are victims of crime. Now, you have to participate in the prosecution. They actually have to find the people that did this. But these people went to very elaborate terms to try to convince this immigrant that this was a real proceeding. They acted like they were real lawyers. They met with him. They talked about his case. They talked about why he feared going back home. All of those things happened, and he not only lost out on $5,000 and almost lost out on another $3,200 and got nothing for his money, but he also has been ordered deported. So now a lawyer has to try to set aside his deportation and get him back on track. Now, this is a very dangerous situation, and officials in New York City are saying there's been a huge spike in 2024 and 2025. And of course, that's one of the byproducts of very, very harsh ICE enforcement. When people are scared and vulnerable, they are more susceptible to crimes like this. Now, do I lay that at the feet of Donald Trump? In a little way. But actually, what you need to do is educate yourself on how to select an attorney. Now, this person wisely knew he needed an attorney. He just went to the wrong places to look. And not only did he use this fake attorney himself, he also recommended this fake attorney to other people. Can you believe it? So he found that lawyer in a Facebook group. And then the Facebook group lawyer then got him off Facebook and onto WhatsApp as quickly as possible. Now, there are certainly lawyers, including our firm, that use WhatsApp as a way to communicate with clients. And there's nothing wrong inherently with that. But you don't go to Facebook to find a lawyer. You go to Google or YouTube and you find out, do they have an actual website? Now, this law firm could have had a fake website, but my understanding is it was all done through social media. But what you need to do is check with the state bar and say, I need to know that you are a real lawyer. So for instance, I'm James Hacking. You can run a search for me in Missouri or Illinois because I'm licensed in both of those states. You want to work with an attorney who's licensed. You don't want to work with a notario. You don't want to work with a form filler. You don't want to work with a fake lawyer. So what you need to do is make sure that you check the state bar, the state Supreme Court. Is Jim Hacking, is this person who's saying on Facebook to me that they're a lawyer and that they can save me from deportation? Is this person actually an attorney? Because most attorneys have malpractice insurance. Most attorneys don't break the law. So you're going to have a much higher level of protection than you would if you just found someone on social media or even took a referral. You should always check out your attorney to make sure that they are a real attorney, that they're not under suspension or being disbarred or being investigated. You should always protect yourself. Now, the other interesting thing is that he is going to hopefully be able to make some other claim to stay in the United States. But we're very, very worried for him, and we're very, very worried for you. If something sounds too good to be true, if you're dead to rights and they have you to deport you, if somebody's promising you that they're going to save you, you need to be extra careful. If they're making promises, if they're preying on your vulnerability, if they're preying on your fears, if they're trying to scare you in ways that they become the hero and save you. Now, I know lawyers talk to you about trying to help you from deportation, but at our firm, we're always going to give you a fair assessment as to whether or not you have a chance to stay in the United States. So another thing to think about if you're an immigrant facing deportation is, I need to make sure that this is not too good to be true. Does this sound legitimate? It's another good reason to ask around for more than one lawyer. If you have one lawyer who's overpromising or a fake lawyer who's overpromising, that might be a red light to alarm you of what's going on. So obviously immigrants are in a tough situation. They might not have status. They might not be savvy as to how the courts work. They probably don't know that certainly don't know that lawyers like this that prey on people on Facebook aren't real lawyers. And there are real court hearings on Zoom, right? So I would say also, he could have checked the online portal to see if his A number had a court date. And if you have a real court date from a court and then someone tells you, oh, that's canceled, I would go back and check that. So it's a big old mess. I hope this man can stay. I hope that as a victim of crime, he might have a new path to stay. But at the end of the day, you have to be careful. You have to be vigilant, and you have to not trust everybody. I'm sorry to say there are some really bad actors out there. It seems like there's a spike in New York City, but this could have happened anywhere. There are deportation courts happening on Zoom every day. So the idea that there are people conducting fake Zoom calls, it's a whole lot easier. They don't have to bring you into a fake building. It's all done on Zoom, and you think it's legit. So it's a scary, scary time for immigrants for lots of reasons, but now they have this other thing to worry about. If you're looking for help with immigration and you want to hire our law firm, give us a call at 314-961-8200 or email us info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. If you're just looking for free advice, there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. You can follow us on TikTok at Immigration Hacking. You can follow us on LinkedIn, just look for me, or for Hacking Immigration Law. You can also follow us on YouTube. We have a channel that you can subscribe to. We have over 2,000 videos on there. We're adding 3 videos every week. You can educate yourself about the way the whole system works. You can educate yourself on how to pick an immigration attorney. And we also have a live show where you can call in and ask me any kind of questions that you want for free. I do that 3 or 4 times a week on YouTube, and you can either subscribe to the channel and turn on your alerts, or you can text the word show to 314-470-3300 to get an alert whenever we're about to go live, and you can ask questions. And then finally, we have our Facebook group. It's called Immigrant Home. We have thousands of immigrants and people that care about immigration in that group, talking about the process and what they're going through each and every day. Thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next video.